This is a video about the RockSolid garage floor Rust-Oleum product, polycarbonate. Everybody knows what that is. I'm going to give you the top 3 tips on doing your garage floor with the RockSolid. I'm going to give you the 3 things to avoid. I'm going to tell you the biggest tip, which is most of the complaints, if you look online at the reviews, I'll tell you how to avoid what all those people are complaining about. I tried the power washer and it got off quite a bit. Now I have to use a paint remover. I'm going to pour this around on the spots that still have paint, and then I'm going to power wash again and try and get off the rest of the paint. So once you get as much paint off as you can, you don't have to get every bit of it. We have to sand the areas that still have paint and this other patchwork, and then we're going to do the etching. That'll be exciting. One of my mistakes, they recommend etching the floor and then doing the crack filler. Let's do some sanding. Everything is sanded and ready for etching. Let me show you the etching. This is the etching material. So it's going to go in this bucket with 2 gallons of water. And the floor has to be wet first. Then we do a section at a time. Pour the liquid with this stuff in it on a 1/4 of it. Scrub it. Do the next part, scrub it, then we rinse it and wait for it to completely dry. The floor has to be completely dry, and there has to be no sign of rain for 2 days. Humidity has to be under 80%. Temperature has to be between 40 and 80, I think, 40 and 90 degrees. It says on the box. So a lot of temperature and weather guidelines. So this is not a summer project. All right. Well, that's it for doing the priming of the trim. The whole edge is primed because I wasn't going to try and get the old paint off there. Okay, today's the day. This is everything. I've got 2 kits. It's a big garage. It's about 730 square feet, and this should be enough to do 900. So hopefully I won't run out. I've got a neighbor, a friend, who's coming over to help me because each batch, there's 4 batches here, each batch is going to take, it's going to dry in an hour. It's going to harden. Conditions are pretty good. It's a little windier than I'd like. The big thing is I'm going to mix the colors right now so we have an even batch of color. That is one of the biggest complaints, is that is not even. If you do 4 bags, that we would have a different color on all 4 sections. So if you mix all the colors together and then separate them back out, and then mix them with part B, one at a time, the color will be even throughout the garage. As you can tell in the workroom, I left the paint on the floor in there. I didn't scrape it all off, and I just did the Rust-Oleum primer on that. So we'll get to see if you can tell any difference. They say, I'm just going to see the same color throughout. It won't look any different from there to here. 3/4 of the garage, 75% is fine. Little bit of a problem, but I'll show you that. So the 1/4 of it has to be redone. For this primer, you have to put the polycuramine down within 48 hours on top of this. They never told me that. It has to be at least 6 hours for that to dry, but no more than 48 hours. Now I've taken all this up, I'm going to reprime, and I'm going to put polycuramine over it within 48 hours. The tacky part, all I have to do is wipe it down with acetone and then reapply another coat to that, and it should be fine. Should be. Out here you can see I've already started to paint, so that's going to look a lot better. You can also see on the floor there are some dark patches. That's where the concrete soaked up more of this stuff than other parts. It says on the box it'll cover 450 to 500, but it won't. It covers maybe 400 square feet. And now that this stuff is down though, it would cover 450 to 500. It will cover more now that this is down because it won't soak up as much. So what I'm going to try to do is hit some of these spots and hope that the color matches. If the color doesn't match, I'm going to have to redo everything. I'll let you know.
The nightmare continues. I put primer on primer like they said I could, and it didn't work. It's sticky and I can't put polycuramine over that. So I'm taking it up a second time.
So this is it, the Nightmare $1 Million Garage. Maybe it's not $1 million garage, but it's a nightmare. It was a nightmare before I started because it looked horrible, and it was a nightmare putting it together. First thing about this is the weather. Depending where you live, you have to time this thing because the temperature has to be just right, and you can't be over 80% humidity within 48 hours of putting this stuff down, where it stops drying and it never starts again. But I definitely suggest renting a dehumidifier. It's about $40 a day for a big industrial dehumidifier, and then you don't have to worry. Get one of these. I suggest that you strip the whole floor. Just strip the whole floor. They told me that I could use the concrete primer in that room, and it just caused all kinds of problems, and I had to redo it twice. What a nightmare. The other thing is, I didn't think about this. Taping off the edge of your garage out to the driveway. You want to tape that off so you don't get the runoff. I've got some runoff, and it's not exactly a nice line out there. So thanks for watching here on Meteor Station, and look for our other videos. Okay, now it's $1 Million Garage.